I always wonder, at what cost do we trade our prosperity, our so-called prosperity in a society? I always wonder this, I see us having these material conditions that are better than average, I guess, when you compare it to the world, right? At least that's what we're told. And I see us living in these like better conditions here in America where I live, but I just see and I feel, and I felt this for so long, that we're all living on these islands. We're all living on these islands of self-serving, like worrying about ourselves and isolation, right? Like we have our big house, we have our nice car, and we just want to get ours, right? And we just want to, this is just the feel that I get, right? I'm not speaking for everybody, but it's like the vibe of society in general, right? And it hurts me, and it hurts us. We're all hurting from it, We're hurting from the fact of needing community. We're hurting from the fact of needing one another, needing authentic connections in our life. I know it because I see it and I feel it in myself. I know it's fact. And I just don't know what the answer is, right? Because we're not born to live alone, and we don't get through life alone. And I just feel the pain because we live in this culture and we exist in this society that, glorifies individualism and glorifies self-made and doing it on your own. And it's very individualistic. And that's pain, I think. At one level, yes, that's great. You can do things on your own and you have the freedom to do so. But I feel like having that freedom in and of itself doesn't necessarily lead to a fulfilled spirit. Just having freedom. What do you do with your freedom? You have the freedom to turn your back on everyone around you. You have your freedom to just pursue your own thing and say screw everyone, right? And I don't want this to be negative, but sometimes I feel this kind of spiritual poverty aspect to this existence that I see around me and I feel it myself, where we have our tinted windows, we have our house that is on the hill or wherever, we have our separate existences where you could live in your house and just work from your computer, have food delivered to you, and never see people, never have to go outside and interact with people. And I think that is really what we're missing. It's not something you can buy. It's not something you can sell. It's literally being a human being there for someone, having someone be there for you, having a support system, having healthy relationships with others, And I'm not saying that people don't have that in this society. I'm just saying that we don't even know our neighbors, There's so many people around, and yet it feels so lonely. And man, I just don't know the answer. I don't. But I feel the pain and I feel the isolation of having this island-like existence where we are just an island, right? I don't know the answer. But I'll tell you what I do, as I do my best to acknowledge the people around me. I do my best to reach out to people and try to bridge the gap. Because it's just weird, I'm just kind of speaking to it. I don't know the answer, but I just feel like we live in a society where everybody has different desires. Everybody has different wants and needs. And we don't have a lot of cohesion when it comes to what are we going for. We don't have a shared dream or a vision that we're all sharing. And I think the only thing that kind of unites us is just whatever this culture is, of sports and consuming and honestly, a lot of numbing too, just numbing ourselves, because I think that we have this hole, and I'm speaking for myself and I'm not speaking for everyone, but I've noticed this in me, is there's this hole, there's this feeling of pain and something's missing, right? And man, I just can't place it. I can't place it. It's like we have it so good on a level of materials, you know, a lot of us do, at least. As a whole, I would say. We have it good compared to the world. But if you travel, if you've been to other places, and like I've been to Thailand, I've been to Costa Rica, and I just kind of notice that I feel from the outside looking in that these people are happy. And on the surface, like, they don't have as much stuff as I do. They don't come from a world that has as much stuff as I do. But yet, man, I don't know. It's not about stuff. That's the thing. That's the answer at the end of the day, is it never was about the stuff. The stuff is never going to fulfill you, and it can't. And even if we're up to our ears in it, even if we have mansions, I think that our spirits are longing for connection and shared experience with our fellow human beings. You know, imagine if you had a house, you know, a giant mansion, unlimited food. You never had to leave. It's missing something, right? I think we're here for each other. And at the end of the day, if we're here for each other, but our society is teaching us to only live for ourselves, and it's not that hard to figure out why it seems like people are so unhappy, I think. And maybe it is that simple. Maybe it is that simple, that we are living for ourselves. And I'm sorry to speak for everyone, because I know it's not true for everyone. I'm just speaking on like a holistic view of how I see society in general, and like the bigger picture of it all in America, where I live, right? I just think that there's a hole, and it comes from only living for ourselves and just having the individual desires to just do what we want to do and F everyone else. And it just encourages this kind of mentality of like dog eat dog competition, kind of, as opposed to cooperation and like encouragement of others, you know? And only we can change that. And it's hard because it's everywhere. I feel like this mentality. But I feel like the answer just lies with us, you know? Becoming a person that includes other people and doesn't just always just put yourself before everyone, but actually acknowledges them and considers other people. You know, that's the answer, I feel, is we can only change that ourselves. And it's hard to do that, I feel like, too, if you don't even know what the issue is, you know? Maybe people come here and they think, wow, I was supposed to be so happy. You know, I was supposed to be so happy. It's better here materially. There's, you know, it's cleaner, it's more sanitary or whatever. But it's like, but there's more to life than that. And the spirit needs more than that. You know, man doesn't live off bread alone. So I just wanted to speak to that today. I don't know the answer, but I feel the pain of the separation of the society I live in, and just feeling separate from everyone around me, feeling like, you know, and maybe that's just the place I live, the area I live in. I don't know, but I just wonder if anyone else feels that too. Peace.